I admit it. I fell in love with someone else's belief in me. It wasn't about sex, not at first. It was about seeing myself reflected in someone else's eyes as capable, intelligent, and ambitious, instead of a nuisance. Maya traced the condensation ring her iced tea left on the polished mahogany. The confession hung in the air, a fragile, invisible thing, yet heavier than any physical object. Her husband, Liam, sat opposite her, his jaw tight, eyes fixed on a point beyond her shoulder, as if avoiding her gaze might somehow make her words unsaid. They were in their meticulously curated living room. The space that once symbolized their shared dreams now felt like a gilded cage. Liam had always been the rock, the sensible one, the engineer whose logic dictated their lives. When Maya, a gifted architect with a burgeoning reputation, spoke of taking on larger, more demanding projects, of competing for international commissions, his response was invariably a gentle, patronizing pat on the hand. "Honey, you're doing so well. Why push yourself? It's a man's world out there, you know. And besides, someone needs to be home, keep things grounded." The high-stakes revelation came subtly, in 1,000 tiny cuts. It wasn't just dismissal, it was an act of undermining. The time she presented a meticulously researched proposal for a sustainable urban development, Liam had laughed. "Are you serious? You think they'll let you build a treehouse city? Stick to extensions, love. That's where the real money is, and less stress." He'd said it in front of friends, diminishing her passion to a whimsical hobby. Each such comment chipped away at her confidence, eroding the very foundation of who she thought she was. She started to believe him, to shrink her ambitions, to second-guess every innovative idea. The stakes were her entire professional identity, her creative soul, slowly suffocating under the weight of his quiet, well-meaning belittlement. And then there was Adam. Adam Vance, her colleague at Sterling and Reed, was a whirlwind of energy and ideas, an architect who saw possibilities where others saw limitations. Their first collaboration was on a challenging adaptive reuse project. Maya proposed an unconventional structural solution that Liam had called reckless. Adam listened, his brow furrowed in concentration, then looked at her with genuine awe. "Maya, that's brilliant. It's risky, yes, but it's precisely the kind of bold thinking this project needs. Let's run simulations. Let's convince them." His unwavering support, his almost childlike enthusiasm for her intellect, was a foreign language to her. Liam's logic was always, why aim for something difficult when something easy yields similar results? Adam's was, why settle for easy when difficult can yield something extraordinary? This unconventional logic became the spark that ignited Maya's debate, not with Adam, but with herself, and, eventually, with Liam. Was ambition inherently selfish? Was comfort truly superior to challenge? Her internal dialogue became a battleground of conflicting ideologies. The power shift was gradual, almost imperceptible at first. Instead of deferring to Liam's pragmatic views on her career, she started actively challenging them. "Liam, the real money in extensions won't get me the portfolio I need for the Zenith Tower bid. This isn't just about income, it's about legacy." He'd dismissively wave his hand, absorbed in a financial report, a familiar gesture that once silenced her, now merely fueled her resolve. She started staying late at the office, not out of obligation, but out of sheer exhilaration, working with Adam, bouncing ideas off him, feeling her dormant creativity awaken. The late nights became a silent, defiant act. Liam, ever oblivious, saw it as dedication, a good wife working hard. He didn't see the blossoming connection that was slowly, meticulously, dismantling the architecture of their life together. The slow burn of their relationship breakdown was excruciating. It wasn't a dramatic explosion, but a quiet, insidious decay. Dinner conversations became monologues by Liam about his day, punctuated by Maya's polite but distant acknowledgments. Their physical intimacy dwindled, replaced by a comfortable, almost brotherly affection that felt hollow. She would lie next to him at night, listening to his even breathing, and feel an ache that wasn't for him, but for the vibrant woman she used to be, the one he had slowly, unintentionally, erased. Adam, meanwhile, was like a mirror, reflecting back the woman she was becoming, confident, articulate, alive. Their conversation stretched from design concepts to philosophical debates, from shared vulnerabilities to laughter that felt like pure sunshine. There was no explicit declaration, no moment where lines were crossed with a conscious decision. It was a gravitational pull, the natural trajectory of two souls finding resonance where one had found only static. The first twist came when Sterling and Reed landed the Zenith Tower bid, thanks in no small part to Maya's innovative design concepts, championed by Adam. Liam's reaction was lukewarm at best. "Oh, that's nice, honey. Big project, more stress for you." His inability to share her genuine triumph felt like a betrayal deeper than any single infidelity could inflict. It solidified her conviction that he simply couldn't, or wouldn't, understand her. The second twist arrived in a hushed conversation with a senior partner, who subtly warned her about Adam's reputation. "He's a charmer, Maya. And notoriously ambitious. Be careful whose coattails you ride, especially if you want to be seen as a leader, not just someone's protege." Suddenly, Adam's unwavering support, which had felt like unconditional validation, now had a faint, unsettling echo of strategic opportunism. Was she a brilliant mind, or a useful stepping stone for his own ascent? This doubt gnawed at her, adding a layer of moral complexity to her burgeoning feelings. Her initial intent with Adam had been pure, professional camaraderie, intellectual stimulation. She craved someone who spoke her language, who understood the intricate dance of light and shadow, the structural integrity of a dream. But the emotional intimacy that bloomed between them, nourished by shared ambitions and late-night vulnerability, had subtly reversed that intent. She found herself craving his presence, his opinion, his approval, more than any professional accolade. She started dressing differently for work, lingered at the coffee machine, found excuses to pop into his office. The line blurred, then vanished. The calm before the emotional explosion was deceptive, almost idyllic. Liam had a major presentation for his firm, and Maya, surprisingly, found herself offering genuine support. She even cooked his favorite meal, a small gesture of domestic peace. They talked about mundane things, the garden, a leaky faucet. It was a fleeting illusion of normalcy, a last, quiet breath before the storm. She convinced herself she could pull back, that the connection with Adam was merely a testament to her professional growth. She even drafted an email to Adam, suggesting they dial back their intense collaboration, focusing purely on work deliverables. She never sent it. The mere thought of dimming that light, of returning to the shadows, felt like an amputation. The discovery of the affair was brutally prosaic. Liam found the texts. Not explicit ones, but enough. Pet names. Inside jokes only they would understand. References to stolen moments in quiet corners of the office. A particularly damning one: "Couldn't have done it without you, my guiding star." It was an exchange after she'd finally convinced the firm to adopt her revised structural plan for Zenith. Liam saw it on her tablet, left open while she was in the shower. He didn't scream. He didn't throw things. He simply walked into the bathroom, the tablet clutched in his hand, his face a mask of profound, desolate emptiness. "Guiding star," he whispered, his voice thin, reedy, like an old man's. "I thought I was your star, Maya. The one who kept you grounded." The moral complexity of the situation coiled around them like a python. Was Liam truly at fault for her seeking solace elsewhere? His dismissiveness was unintentional, a manifestation of his own anxieties about change, perhaps even a subconscious fear of her eclipsing him. Was Maya absolved of responsibility because she felt unfulfilled? Her self-righteousness had been her armor. "He didn't see me. He held me back. I deserved to be seen." She reflected on his consistent, albeit misguided, attempts to provide security, to protect her from what he perceived as a harsh world. But that protection had felt like a suffocation. "I never asked you to protect me from myself, Liam," she'd wanted to scream. "I only wanted you to celebrate me." The emotional escalation was swift and brutal. His quiet despair morphed into a furious, guttural roar. "You used him. You used as encouragement to justify tearing our lives apart. Her own hurt, simmering for years, boiled over. You stifled me, Liam. You built a cage of comfort around me and called it love. Adam saw me, truly saw me, for the first time in years. The shouting match fractured the polite veneer of their home. The social fallout was immediate and devastating. Friends took sides, awkwardly avoiding eye contact. Her professional reputation, once pristine, became tainted by whispers. The affair was the headline. The years of quiet neglect, the subtle emotional abuse, were footnotes no one bothered to read. Adam, seeing the storm he had inadvertently helped unleash, retreated, his own ambition suddenly prioritized over any burgeoning affection. He was a professional, after all, and scandal was bad for business. The twist of his self-preservation was a bitter pill. The final emotional justification came months later, in the quiet aftermath of the divorce. Liam had moved out, taking with him not just his belongings, but a piece of her, a piece she hadn't realized she still valued, the shared history, the comfortable silence. She sat in her newly quiet home, the Zenith Tower project now reaching dizzying heights, her name lauded in architectural journals. She had achieved her ambitions. But at what cost? Her justification wasn't a neatly packaged defense. It was a raw, aching truth. I knew it was wrong, what I did. The betrayal, the deceit. But sometimes, you become so starved for a particular kind of nourishment, you reach for it wherever you find it. Liam's love was a warm blanket, but I was dying for air. Adam offered me air. He offered me a space to breathe, to grow, to be the architect I was always meant to be. And yes, in the end, I chose that breath over the blanket. Maybe it was selfish. Maybe it was cruel. But it was survival. And perhaps a desperate, flawed attempt to remind myself that I was still capable of building something truly magnificent, even if it meant tearing down the walls of my own life first. She looked at the city skyline, the Zenith Tower a beacon in the distance. The building stood tall, a testament to her vision. But the architecture of her own heart was still under construction, scarred but undeniably, finally, free.